Hello, all of my crafty friends. It's Kiona the Craft Therapist here for another video for Sassy and Crafty. Today, I'm going to be using one of the crafty girls or the sassy girls, and this is from the Krafty set. I also wanted to use this awesome stencil that has recently been released that I absolutely loved, and I'm going to use this transfer duo gel along with some deco foil in this emerald watercolor green and gold color. I also need my Nuvo spatula for this, and I'm going to use some of these cute green stencils. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and tape that down and start putting the Deco Duo gel onto my stencil. Now, once I get this all spreaded evenly, this will need to dry for about an hour. I think I let mine dry for closer to 2 hours, just so I could ensure that it was completely dry before I did my gel transfer. So we're gonna set it aside, and it looks like this. And then this is the little piece that I'm going to be working on for the inside of our card and for our sentiment that I did in Cricut Design Space. So this is a cute little leprechaun for the inside of the card. So we're going to go ahead and start paper piecing this together. Now, I don't do a lot of paper piecing anymore, but gosh, was it super fun to just watch this little guy come together. And so what I'm doing here is I'm just using some art glitter glue, and I have a little tray beside me with all the little pieces in it, and I'm just gluing everything together. And one of the things that I really love about Cricut Design Space is it really shows you in what order is best to put each of your elements on, so that you don't inadvertently get things put in the wrong place and have things in mixed matched order. So I'm going ahead and doing his little stockings now, which are striped. I just thought this came out so super cute, and I figured since Leprechaun Day or St. Patrick's Day is coming up fairly quickly, it would be fun to try to do another spin on this stamp set and do more of a St. Patrick's Day themed card. I know sometimes we will get stamp sets and we don't know what else to do with them besides what they were actually created for. So for example, this stamp set that we're going to use from Sassy and Crafty today is a Crafty Girl stamp set. However, those girls can be utilized for anything. And I especially loved the shocked face. Like, it could be any kind of surprise. Congratulations. I'm so excited. There are so many different uses for that stamp set. And I typically am one of those people who struggle when something comes in a set and it looks a certain way. Sometimes I struggle to try to think outside of the box to do something different. So that was what I was intentionally attempting to do on this stamp set, and I thought that it came out amazing. I'm using some vinyl in addition to the cardstock paper piecing, just because I love the element of texture that it provides. And so I used that on his face, his mouth, his cheeks, and his hands, just so that that would give some shine, as well as it also makes it a little bit easier when you're cutting out certain elements in vinyl, especially if they're going to be smaller pieces. This is the little gold buckle for his hat, and he'll be pretty much complete for us once that part is done. He came out so cute. Let me know what you think. So now this is going to be the inside portion of our card, and you can see there's a little cutout at the top, and that is because this is going to be a pop-up card once you open it up. And this was completely created inside of Design Space, a very simple type of card to complete. Now, I did use some additional vinyl. Well, this wasn't really vinyl. This was actually their party foil that I used stick-it adhesive on the back of in order to ensure that it was sticky. And so I used the stick-it adhesive, and now I'm taking that off so that I can just stick that down onto the cardstock. And the reason that I used the party foil was because the party foil is very shiny. It is awesome for like confetti and streamers and things like that. And I wanted to use it on my card. There are so many different ways that you can utilize your vinyl and iron-on and even your party foil. And so I do try to add an element of that onto each of my cards. So I'm going to go ahead and get all of these little pieces pulled away and get the lucky placed inside. And this will say that I am so lucky to have you. And so I thought that would be a really cute sentiment to send out to one of my nieces or nephews for St. Patrick's Day. And so I thought that this would be a cute card that I could share with you all today. I really would love to know what you guys think about the card, and if you will be trying something similar. And if you do, I would love for you to tag me in it. I'd love to see what everyone is making. So make sure that you let me know. This is what it's going to look like on the inside, and I've already cut that little cutout when I made my card base in Design Space. And so what I'm doing is my inside pop-up piece will be a valley fold, and actually my card base will be a mountain fold. So valley fold and a mountain fold, super simple. I have that so it would fit directly inside of there, and my little leprechaun is going to look like he is sitting when he pops up, and I just love how that is turning out. So I'm going to use my art glitter glue to go ahead and glue that inside and get that all put in. The other thing that I really love about using Design Space is the fact that I can make sure that my card bases are evenly spread out. So what I'm doing now is I'm putting in some of the score tape, just because I like to ensure that it's super sticky in there and I don't have to worry about my element falling off if there's a lot of movement for that. So now we're going to move on to the front of the card, which is where all my Sassy and Crafty comes in. And we have a matted piece that is some burgundy shimmer paper that I'm utilizing for the background mat of my card as well. So we're going to put that on there. And this card is a 5x7. So this border piece is 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. I love making 5x7 cards, primarily just because it gives me more real estate to play with. So that is the way that I typically make most of my cards. And you guys also saw that I used the sentiment goodness in Design Space. And so I used some more of that party foil to create the goodness sentiment. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to a shadow piece. Now for me, another trick that I love to do, instead of cutting out multiple of the primary words when I want it to be popped up or have some dimension, I will create multiples of the shadow layer. And that's just an easier way to create a shadow or a dimensional sentiment piece if you don't want to have to fuss with the intricacies of the actual word. So you guys can see that I did about 4 of those thick, so that gave me a really nice little pop-up for that part. Now I did color my sassy girl offline. I was actually working and I didn't have much to do while I was taking a phone call, so I decided that I would color her up in some green and burgundy to kind of match our color theme for today. So I colored her up and then I fussy cut her out, and that is what she looks like, and the goodness will sit right in front of her. Now we're going to go back to that piece that we used the duo gel. You will notice that it turns clear once it is dry, and I'm taking a sheet of copy paper and I'm just going to use that to be kind of like my shim or my cover for it. Once I get that done, I'm going to measure. Don't do this. Don't lay your sheet on top of the duo gel. It's sticky. Lesson learned. I tried it so you didn't have to. So I'm going to take my duo gel and that transfer tape, and I'm going to go ahead and I ran that through my Mink machine on a number 3 setting. And once we get that done, we can do the peel and reveal, and it came out so awesome. I absolutely loved it. I love all the shimmer and shine. I love that gold and green color, and those hearts just are a showstopper for me. I decided to bring in some of my fossilized amber distress oxide, just because I wanted to tone down that whiteness in the background, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that before or after I did the transferring. When you do it after, just make sure that you have something that you can wipe off your deco foil with. I decided to use a partially wet baby wipe, and so that worked out very well. I didn't have any issues, and it cleaned up and shined back up really, really easily. And so I just took a light hand and went around that and added some of that fossilized amber, and that came out really well. So that's what we're left with right there. I am going to cut this down about 1/8 of an inch, so this panel will end up being a little bit shy of 4.5 by 6.5. Now I'm going to use some of my score tape on the front and the back. On the front will be where the goodness will sit on top of our sassy girl, and I am using score tape just because I like to have a really good grip when I'm using textured elements on the front of my card. So the Deco Duo gel does leave you with a bit of a textured and dimensional look on the front of your cards. So I just didn't want any fuss or any hassle. I didn't want anything to go wrong with that. So I went ahead and utilized score tape all over the back of the elements that are going to go on the front of the card. So now that we have all of that completed, we'll go ahead and get all of that taken off, and then we can go ahead and put her on the front of the card panel. So this is what the front of our card is going to look like. I'm going to utilize one of my Stardust gel pens, and I like to use that just to add some highlights to her hair. I used it to make her nails shimmery, and then I added a couple of, pieces of shimmer throughout the rest of the element. For example, there's a stitching on her overalls, and then I added just a couple of streaks onto her hair bow, and I really thought that that added a really cute and nice element to the front of the card. You guys know that I absolutely love my shimmer, so once I get done adding all of this, I will then have to go in with my Wink of Stella, because it is just it makes things shiny, and I love the shiny and shimmery things. So we're going to go in and add a little bit of the Wink of Stella, and then we will be ready to get this card done. The last thing that we will be adding is going to be the elements from I can't remember. It's a sequin mix, and I will try to link it below. It is on Etsy. They have an Etsy shop, and they offer some of the most amazing different little sprinkles and different holidays. Their sequin mixes are just so cute. So I did put the card base underneath my glass mat for a little while, just so that that would have time to go ahead and really get a little bit flatter. Just because of that pop-up piece, you want to give it a little bit of time to sit and flatten out. If you're mailing it, it will flatten in the mail, but I just love that little pop-up element that's going on there. So the last thing that we're going to do is bring in our sequins, and you can see that it has like the little shamrocks, it has some stars, it has some bubbles, it has some little seed beads, it has all types of things in there. Sparkle blends, that is the name of it. I'm so glad that came back to me. So it's called Sparkle Blend Mixes, and these can be found on Etsy, and they do them for every holiday, and they even have like a set that you can order each month. Very, very cute, very, very reasonable. I absolutely love them. And so I'm going to go in, and I just wanted to use some of the bubbles and diamonds that came in there, in their different hues of green and clear. And so that's how I'm going to finish off our card for today. I hope that you guys really enjoyed this card. Tell me in the comments below what you thought. I love chatting with you guys there. So please let me know what you think, how you liked it. And again, if you do decide to make something similar, I would love to know if you will connect with me on social media.